In the name of the one true God, the primordial benefactor, who is kind. Aleph, La'am, Ra'ah. What follows are elements of the code of wisdom. Why are people surprised that we communicate divinely to one of their own? It is done for the sake of raising caution for humanity, also to put at ease those who endorse the message, comforting them that they are in good standing with their Lord and Sustainer. Yet those who suppress the truth claim, this clearly is a charlatan. Your Lord and Sustainer did indeed create heavens and earth in 6 days, then occupied the throne to regulate affairs. No intermediary is needed, except if he so chooses. Such then is the one true God, your Lord and Sustainer, whom you should devote yourselves to. Will you then not take cognizance? To him you shall all return. That is a promise of God that shall hold true. He initiates creation, then recreates it to afford justice to those who embrace truth and act righteously. Those who suppress truth shall have a boiling brew and a painful torment to pay for their suppressing of truth. It is he who made the sun shine brightly and the moon luminous, setting for it different phases, so you are able to know the years and perform calculations. None of this did God creator without a purpose. He sets out his evidence for the knowledgeable. In the night and day succession, and in all that God created throughout heavens and earth, there is clear evidence for people of consideration. As for those who do not aspire to the reunification with us, content with the earthly life, complacent in it, and indifferent to our evidence, their destiny shall be hellfire, which they shall have deserved. As for those who embrace truth and act righteously, their Lord and Sustainer shall guide them through that which they endorse. Streams shall flow beneath them in gardens of bliss. There, amidst the gardens, they shall chant, "Glory to you, our true God," as they greet each other with peace, then ending their chant with, "All praise is due to the one true God, Lord and Sustainer of all worlds." Had God expedited people's doom to match their haste for gratification, their fate would long have been sealed. Those with no desire to reunite with us one day shall we let wander about aimlessly. When trouble afflicts a person, he prays to us lying, sitting and standing. When we give him relief from his trouble, he goes about as though he never prayed to us when he had trouble. People who misbehave use this relief that we provide to justify the perpetuation of their poor behavior. We wiped out nations before you when they became wicked. Their designated messengers approached them with clear notice, but they failed to hearken. That is how we reckon with a depraved people. So now, in their wake, we made you the inheritors of the earth, so we can observe how you will behave. When convincing evidence is recited to them, those with no desire to reunite with us state, "Come with a proclamation other than this, or adapt it at least." Tell them, "I have no right to adapt it by myself. I execute only what is divinely communicated to me. I myself fear the punishment of that supreme day, should I disobey my Lord." Tell them, "If God wanted, I would not recite this evidence to you, nor would he bring it to your attention. After all, I have been living here my entire life before this revelation. Does this not make sense to you? None is more wicked than he who fabricates a lie in God's name or denies his evidence. Moreover, he shall never bring prosperity to the depraved. Then they devote themselves to things other than God, things that can neither harm nor benefit them. Their argument is, these are our intermediaries with God. Answer them, are you able to teach God something he is unaware of throughout heavens and earth? Glorious is he and far beyond their blasphemy. Humanity is but a single fraternity that split up. Were it not for an overriding decree from your Lord, that which split them would be resolved. They say, why does he not offer a supernatural sign from his Lord? Answer them, the supernatural is God's domain. Go on and persist then in your chosen way. I too shall persist. When we bring relief to people after their hardship through our directives, they then go on and manipulate our directives. Tell them, God is more swift when it comes to manipulation. Every plan of yours is carefully recorded by our agents. He it is who enables for you travel by land and sea. Imagine yourselves in a ship at sea. with its occupants happily sailing along, ahead of a fair wind. Then a stormy wind comes up, whipping up giant waves on all sides of them. As they fear being submersed, one of them cries out earnestly to God, fully disposed to him, "Should you save us from this, we shall be forever grateful." When we do save them, they perpetuate their criminality on earth, in negation of truth. Dear people, your criminality does harm to yourselves and brings only short-term happiness in this earthly life. Then you have to return to us, to face our indictments against you for the misdeeds you committed on earth. An analogy of this earthly life is that of rain, which we send down from the sky, and which is absorbed by the plants of the earth from which men and animals are sustained. Until, just as the earth takes on its finest appearance and is beautifully adorned, and its people presume that they are in full control of it, our judgment comes down, by night or day, and we reduce it to stubble, as if it had not flourished just the day before. In this way do we elaborate true directives for people who care to ponder. God invites to the state of peace and shows the way to the even path to whom he chooses. Those who do good shall enjoy good things and more. No darkness or shame shall cover their faces. They shall be the companions of the garden, where they shall abide eternally. As for those who commit evil, the reward of an evil deed is its equivalent. Humiliation will cover them, with no one to protect them from God, as if their faces were covered with patches of the night's deep darkness. They shall become the inmates of the fire, abiding there endlessly. That day, when we resurrect them all, we shall say to those who co-opted false gods alongside us, "Go to your place with those you co-opted with God." Then we shall separate them, whereupon those they idolized will say, "It was not us that you worshipped falsely. God is witness between us and you, that we were unaware of you falsely worshipping us." At that moment shall every soul face what it had done. Then shall they be returned to God, their true guardian protector. Whatever false gods they invented shall fail them at that time. Ask them, "Who is it that avails for you provisions from heaven and earth? Or who possesses the power to hear and see? Who is it that brings life from the lifeless and brings death to the living? Who is it that sits in command?" They will have to reply, "The one true God." Then tell them, "So then, rein yourselves in. Such then is the one true God, your true Lord and Sustainer. Beyond this truth there lies only folly. How can you still be misled? Such arguments are what make the dictates of your Lord real to the defiant, yet they will not concede. Ask them, are any of the false gods you co-opt alongside God able to set creation in motion and to perpetuate it? Then answer for them, the one true God is who set creation in motion and who perpetuates it. How are you then still deluded? Ask them, can any of the false gods you co-opt alongside God point you to what is right? Then answer for them, the one true God points to what is right. So then, is that which points to what is right not entitled to followership? Rather than that which cannot point to what is right unless it is shown the way, what is your logic then? How do you judge? Most of them follow nothing but baseless presumptions, and baseless presumptions do not help one to arrive at truth. God is fully aware of their doings. This Qur'an cannot have been produced without God's involvement. It therefore serves as a means of verification of what came before and as an elucidation of the code, about which there is no doubt, from the Lord and Sustainer of all worlds. As to their claim that he forged it, you should respond, produce then a passage like it and call anyone that is capable, indifferent to God, to substantiate your claim. Rather, they deny what they fail to understand fully. Its real meaning has not sunk in with them. Those before them denied Scripture in that same way. Do observe, however, what the outcome was for the wicked in the past. Some of them do embrace it, while others fail to embrace it. Your Lord has true knowledge of who the troublemakers are, though. When they deny you, tell them, I have my work to do, and you have yours. My mission does not interest you, neither does your mission interest me. Some of them do try to listen to you, but how do you make a deaf person hear? How do you if they are unable to use their minds? Some of them watch you, but how do you show something to the blind who cannot see? God never wrongs humanity in any way. It is humanity that wrongs itself. On that day, when he resurrects them, it will be as though their stay on earth was for no more than an hour of the day, the time on earth they had for mutual interaction. Those who denied the reunification with God shall have lost out then, having been misled during their earthly life. We may let you observe some of what we promised them. It may also happen that we depart you first. To us they must return, though, and God is witness to all their actions. Every nation gets a messenger. Once their messenger has come, fair judgment is passed between them. In this way none shall suffer any undeserved harm. They ask, when will this 0 hour come, assuming what you say is true? Tell them, by myself I hold no power to benefit or cause harm, unless it be as God wills. For every nation there is a set term. When their term expires, there is no delay, not even for an hour, nor is it expedited. Ask them. Can you not imagine his terrible damnation befalling you by night or by day? Is this what the guilty want to rush towards? Will you only then, when it strikes you, admit to its truth, when, as of right now, you have been rushing headlong towards it? Then shall the wicked be told, experience now the relentless torture. Are you not being repaid exactly what you deserve? They consult you asking, is this really going to happen? Tell them, for sure, as true as my Lord exists, it is real, and there is nothing you can do to avoid it. That day cannot be averted, even if every person who did wrong and possessed everything on earth offered it all in exchange. When they witness the damnation, they will secretly feel remorse. Then shall the righteous judgment come down between them, while none shall suffer any undeserved harm. Without doubt, all that exists throughout heavens and earth belong to God. Without doubt, the 0 hour set by God is real. Sadly, though most of them do not appreciate. He gives life, and he brings death, and unto him you shall return. Dear mankind, you have received an advisory from your Lord, a cure for the inner and a source of direction and benefit for all who embrace. Tell them, rejoice then in what constitutes a benefit and courtesy from God, better than anything you can ever accumulate. Tell them, note then the sustenance that God sent down for you. You are declaring some of it unlawful and some lawful. Ask them, do you have God's permission for this, or are you making things up in God's name? Those who fabricate lies which they attribute to God are presuming there will be no day of resurrection. God offers man an advantage, but most of them have no appreciation. No issue that may arise and the rendering you make from the Qur'an regarding such issue or the subsequent action you take. Go by without us being witness to it when you are engaged in it. No atom's measure shall bypass your Lord, not on earth and nor in heaven. Everything, even things less than an atom's measure or greater than it, is being clearly recorded. And so those aligned to God need have no fear, nor shall they grieve, those who embraced and became of the considerate. Glad tidings are there for them both in this earthly life and in the life hereafter. No alteration is there to the dictates of God. That constitutes the supreme achievement. Be not disillusioned by their talk. All magnificence belongs to God. He, the great hearer and knower. Whoever exists throughout heavens and earth belongs to God. What is it that those who beg to co-opted false gods besides God are followers of? They follow only false assumptions, indulging in speculation. It is He who made nighttime for you, to rest during, and daytime to make things visible for you. In this there is evidence of God for the listening audience. They claim, God fathered a child. Far above it be He is beyond any need. To Him belongs all throughout heavens and earth. You have, for making this claim, no authorization. Are you then attributing to God something you possess no knowledge of? Tell them, those who fabricate lies which they attribute to God shall never succeed. Small is the enjoyment they reap in this earthly life. Then must they return to us, where we shall make them experience a severe penalty for what they suppressed. Relate to them the account of Noah when he said to his people, "My dear people, if you find my standpoint and my constant advocating of God's evidence offensive, please realize that in God have I placed my trust. Assemble then your plans and your partners, and let not your plans be clandestine. Then carry it out against me without delay. If you should shun me, do realize that I never sought to gain anything from you. My gain is only from God, who I am instructed to surrender to." They rejected him, but we rescued him, and those with him on the ark, making them inherit the land eventually. Those who rejected our evidence we made perish in the deluge. Observe then what the outcome is for those given fair warning. After him, we sent other messengers, each to his own people, who brought them clear notice. They similarly failed to embrace what those before them rejected. Such do we seal the minds of transgressors. After them we deputized Moses and Aaron to deliver our directives to Pharaoh and his elite. They acted arrogantly, being caught in depravity. When the truth from us dawned on them, they claimed, "This is but a clever trick." Moses replied, "Is this what you label the truth that confronts you? How can it be a trick when the tricksters have nothing to win?" They responded, "Have you come to turn us away from what we found our forefathers believing? This so the two of you can become the masters in this land? We will not succumb to the two of you." Then Pharaoh called out, "Assemble for me all the great magicians." When the magicians were present, Moses said to them, "Cast forth what you have to cast." When they were done casting, Moses said, "What you did was a magic trick, which God shall nullify, for never does God vindicate an action born of deceit." God indeed realized the truth through his dictates. This, in the face of the enmity of the depraved. Only a handful of Moses' people endorsed him, due to the fear of persecution that existed for Pharaoh and his elite. Pharaoh was indeed mighty in the land and prone to excess. Moses said, "My dear people, if you are indeed embracing God, do place your trust in him to attain real security." They replied, "We do depend on God." "Dear Lord of ours, make us not the means by which to test a wicked people. Deliver us by your grace from those who suppress truth." To Moses and his brother, we divinely communicated this instruction: acquire quarters for the people inside the city, then turn these quarters into models of guidance, where observance to the code is established. In this way, therefore, you may enlighten all who embrace the two of you. Moses prayed, "Dear Lord of ours, you have given Pharaoh and his elite great splendor and treasure in this earthly life. Lord of ours, they use this to lead others astray from your path. Dear Lord of ours, erase their riches and harden their resolve to disbelieve, in order that they may experience the painful penalty." God replied to Moses and Aaron, "Your prayers are answered, so stand firm, and follow not the way of those who lack knowledge." We brought the Israelites across the river, while Pharaoh and his troops went in criminal and hateful pursuit of them. Until when overcome by the water and about to drown, he cried out, "I now admit that there is no God except the one which the Israelites believe in. I do indeed endorse. Now only, after you disobeyed and transgressed, today we shall preserve only your corpse as evidence to future generations. Still, a great many people remain indifferent to our evidence. We settled the Israelites in a shared abode and sustained them with good food. But they still fell into division, in spite of having received reliable knowledge. For that division, God shall bring judgment between them on the day of resurrection. If you have doubt about what we reveal to you afresh, then inquire from those who study the earlier law. Truth has indeed reached you from your Lord, so be not of the doubtful. Be not of those who deny the evidence of God, ending up suffering loss. Those against whom your Lord's dictates are realized shall not embrace, even if they receive every form of evidence, and even if they were able to see the painful damnation that awaits them. If only every city could have endorsed their messenger and reaped the benefit of their endorsement, as did the people of Jonah. After they endorsed, we lifted an ignominious damnation from them in this earthly life, and for a while gave them a delightful existence. If it was your Lord's will, everyone on earth would endorse the message. Given that God compels them not, will you then compel people to endorse? No person embraces unless it be God's will. Those who fail to apply their intellect, he covers in shame. Tell them, observe all that is in the heavens and on earth. But evidence and warnings are of no use to people unwilling to make the endorsement. Are they then just waiting for the same damnation that befell those before them? Tell them, go on and persist then in your chosen way. I too shall persist. Then we shall save our messengers and those who embrace them, in accordance with the obligation on us to save those who embrace. Tell them, dear people, if you are unsure of what my scheme constitutes, it amounts to this: refraining from the worship of all that you worship besides the one true God, worshipping only the one true God, who shall depart all your souls. I am commanded to be part of them who make this endorsement. My call is therefore that you reorientate yourselves to the uncomplicated scheme of worship, and to reject the co-option of false gods, that you beg from no creature besides the one true God, creatures that can neither benefit nor harm you. Should you do so, you shall have committed wrong. If God brings harm on you, no one can remove it except He, and if He intends good for you, none can turn away His favor. He grants His bounty to any of His devotees as He chooses. He remains forgiving and kind. Tell them, dear people, that which is true has come to you from your Lord. All who navigates by it shall benefit only themselves, and all who choose to stray from it do so at their own cost. I am not assigned to take responsibility for your choice. Follow that which is divinely communicated to you, and persevere in it so as to engage God's wisdom, for He is all-wise.